Thank you very much for joining us once again at this very segment of our broadcast. I am Pastor Maxwell Nawihe. This is very important regarding the economy and regarding the well-being of the citizens of this country. Hunger crisis, food crisis in Nigeria may last longer than anticipated. Akin Olotu, he is speaking based on his experience, an expert in agriculture and a former aide to the former governor of Akin Olotu. He has spoken from his own experience as an agri expert that the very hunger crisis in Nigeria may continue. The food crisis in the country may continue. The protests may also erupt in the coming months or weeks, because from his own point of view and expertise perspective, the hunger crisis, the food crisis in Nigeria may last longer than expected or anticipated, which will lead to more protests. We pray it doesn't happen, because a lot of people are already tired. A lot of people are already dying. A lot of people have already hung themselves, in different parts of the states of the country, in different regions, unreported or underreported. A lot of crimes, new crime rates have taken place in different places. People have become victims of new crime waves in different states. Those that they call the Yahoo boys are not taking it easy at all. Those that capitalize on preying the vulnerable, they are not taking it easy at all. Because one thing in every living thing, including human being, is this instinct of survival. If you see an insect in your house, in your bedroom, in your parlor, in your kitchen, wherever it is, and you want to kill it, it will run for its life. Everything has that instinct of survival. When anything feels threatened by anything, it puts up that defense position to defend itself. Likewise, human beings. So when the survival of people are threatened, they devise different kind of means in order to survive. Most of the devices are not legitimate. Most of them are not legitimate. Most of them are not moral. Most of them are not legal. Most of them are not according to what the constitution or the laws of the land provides or recommends. But the instinct of survival, sometimes, in the absence of discipline and self-confidence and right mindset, pushes people into different kind of crimes, frauds, or criminalities in order for them to survive. Mr. Akin Olotu has made a prediction that we all need to take into consideration. And when you look at what are the approach or the policies of the President of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, his economic policies, they are not encouraging at all. They are not encouraging at all. Not even one of them is encouraging. We have read on the pages of newspapers, we have heard through different news outlets, mainstream medias, all the promises of renewed hope, which happened to be in his campaign slogan, his own mission statement in the economy of Nigeria, renewed hope. And till today, we don't see where the hope is, let alone a renewed brand of it. The hunger crisis has persisted, rising from the subsidy removal. And do you know, the subsidy has been brought back still. The hike in fuel price and the economic hardship that was brought in as a result of the removal of the subsidy has not been addressed till this moment. Fuel was selling at the pump price, official pump price of 180 naira. Some filling stations were selling 200 naira. When Tinubu came into power, he removed the fuel subsidy and then the pump price skyrocketed. The subsidy has been put back. Still, it did not crash the fuel price till today. Akin Olotu has said that the food crisis in Nigeria may continue. It may last longer than anticipated. That is what he is saying. And some people are saying, God forbid. God forbid. If you say God forbid, what is the president of the country doing? What the advices that his cabinet, his kitchen cabinet members are given to him with regards to agriculture, food security, employment, industrialization, infrastructure that's supposed to aid food sufficiency or production or security in the country? What are the advices that his aides are given to him, that his cabinet, kitchen cabinet members, the ministers are given to him, that the governors are suggesting to attract different kind of federal government project that will ensure food sufficiency in the state, food security in the state, and other related policies and ideas or strategies. Akin Olotu, hunger crisis, food crisis in Nigeria may last longer than anticipated. It may last longer than anticipated. We are only praying it doesn't. We are only hoping and believing that it won't. We are only praying and trusting God that He will intervene to touch the heart of the leaders of this very contraption, that they do needful in order to savage the perishing masses of this contraption. That is what Awolowo said. I'm not the one calling Nigeria contraption. That was what Chief Obafemi Awolowo said. He also said that Nigeria is a mere geographic expression. Hunger crisis, food crisis in Nigeria may last longer than anticipated. Akin Olotu. Mr. Akin Olotu has warned that the food crisis in Nigeria may last even longer than anticipated if relevant proactive steps are not taken. Mr. Olotu is an agriculture expert and former senior special assistant on agric and agribusiness to late Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu. He spoke in Akure at the annual lecture series of the Correspondence Chapel of the Ondo State Council of the Nigeria Union of Journalists, NUJ. Olotu said the only way out of the quagmire is for government to tackle climate change, pest infections, and other threats to agricultural productivity, including the Fulani herdsmen destruction and vandalism of farmlands, of course, kidnappings and rapings of farmers in different states of the country. In his words, in the months ahead, there will be more food crisis. There will be more food crisis. The present climatic condition is not favorable to farming activities. Something has to be done. Who will do it? Something has to be done. Who is going to do it? Who? Bola Mede Tinubu, that is enjoying his sound sleep in Asorok. He has gotten his turn as he demanded. He paid for it, according to him, and it was given to him by Professor Yakubu Mahmood, INEC chairman. Now he's enjoying his sound sleep. He doesn't need any disturbance at all. Akin Olotu is saying something has to be done. And the question is this: who will do it? Who is going to take the lead to do what has to be done? He continued, food crisis is still ahead. Does the president know? Does his wife, Remi Tinubu, does she know? By the way, she's a pastor in the Redeemed Christian Church of God. But this is not about religion, because hunger doesn't understand religion. Akin Olotu says hunger is still ahead. President Bola Tinubu has to set target for the state and local councils. He has to, which means he has not. As I said, he is enjoying his sound sleep and he needs no disturbance at all. Presently, according to Akin Olotu, presently, Nigeria's poultry industry has collapsed. Nigeria's poultry industry has collapsed. Doesn't the Minister of Agriculture know? Doesn't the Minister of Agriculture know? Doesn't the President of the country know? Olotu explained that the country is facing major food insecurity exacerbated by escalating conflicts, economic instability, and a typical staple food prices, urged the state governor, Lucky Ayedatiwa, to dedicate 24% of the state's 2025 budget to agriculture to enhance food production. Dedicate 25% of the state's 2025 budget to agriculture in order to enhance food production. That is his own suggestion. I hope they will pay attention to that and implement what he is suggesting. He said that the former governor of the state cultivated 87,000 hectares of oil palms out of a target 100,000 hectares in pursuit of the red gold revolution, which created over 30,000 jobs. Now, that very governor is dead. Will his successor continue in that very initiative to ensure that these 30,000 jobs remains and are established, yielding revenues to the advantage and development of the citizens of the state, and by so doing, moving the state forward, and also by extension moving the country forward? Will they do so? Ondo State has comparative advantage in 3 crops. We targeted 100,000 hectares for oil palm, but we did it 7,000 hectares. We also succeeded in tomato cultivation in Ondo. Nigeria is importing oil palm heavily. We need concerted efforts to tackle food shortage. We need to plan, which means there's no plan on the part of the government. We need to plan. We need to know where we are and where we are going to. So there is no actionable steps. There is no blueprint. There is no blueprint whatsoever in this regard. And Akin Olotu is saying we need to have one. That is what he is saying. He echoes the earlier prediction by the United States that its 2 million Nigerians, about 64% of the country's population, may go hungry by 2030. That is by the time Bola Ahmed Tinubu will be rounding off his tenure. I hope you saw that. According to the United Nations prediction, the United Nations prediction says that 82 million Nigerians, 82 million Nigerians, which is about 64% of the country's population, which is about 64% of the entire population of Nigeria, may go hungry by 2030. If Bola Ahmed Tinubu exhausts his 4-year tenure, 4-year in his first tenure, and decide to go for the second tenure, which will now make it a total of 8 years, which will be by 2027. Okay, try to understand it. If things are not put in place, if there is no agricultural revolution, if food insecurity is not tackled, if there is no proactive measures put in place, and also implementations or enforcements to ensure that there is no food shortages, to ensure that there is food security, to ensure that there is food production, and all the activities leading to agricultural production is put into place and also encouraged. If this is not done by this administration, United Nations is saying there is the possibility that about 80 million or 82 million Nigerians, which is about 64% of the country's population, will go hungry by 2030, which means as Bola Ahmed Tinubu is leaving office, about 64% of Nigerians will be in extreme hunger. I hope you understand that. In his words, there should be aggressive rural transformation. The government needs to curb rural urban drift. If we do not have rural transformation, we are going nowhere. This day reports that Governor Aiyedatiwa, who was represented by Secretary to the State Government Tayo Oluwatuyi, said his administration has embarked on several initiatives to boost food production in the let me quote them very correctly. This day, according to this day, that's what they wrote, that the governor said, being represented by the secretary to the state government, Tayo Oluwatuyi, he said that his administration has embarked on several initiatives to boost food production and improve the welfare of the citizens. I have to correct that for them. He also charged journalists in the state to bear in mind that they owe it a duty to report only the truth at all times and avoid giving out false and misleading information that may disrupt the peace of the society, as the state cannot afford any electoral crisis again. So basically, that is what it is. There may be the continuation or the lingering of food crisis in the country longer than anticipated. This is coming from Akin Olotu. We pray it doesn't happen. We can only hope, trusting that something very proactive is going to be done, something very, very quickly, honest, devoid of influences of corruption is going to be done to ensure that Nigerians don't remain in that very strangulating situation of hunger or food crisis. Thank you very much for watching. I am Pastor Maxwell Nawiye. Bye bye.